Hi everyone, I'm Tokunbo, also known as Tokes to my friends and to Tony and Mario because they're my new friends. I'm this week's guest on the Appraise the Phrase show, and you can find me mostly on Twitter at Tokunbo Koiki, or you can also find me on Instagram and the Club as the TK Chronicles.
Easy come, easy go.
It's about shame. It's a shame tactic when you think about it. Easy come, easy go, worldly pleasure, like the things that you enjoy in life are too easy, and you should feel shame about the fact that you're enjoying it. And so when it does go, let it go and don't feel that, don't moan. And I think that's just nonsense. Honestly, I feel like now that I know that, I'm like, yeah, easy come, easy go just now annoys me even more. Easy come, easy go. What has ever come easy? Like, even the free money that I've received in this life, I've received it because of something else that I've done in other parts of my life. So to me, that's not easy money. That's just a reward.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love listening. The reason why we put this show together is for that moment right there. That moment right there. You know what? Hell no. You know what I'm saying? That hell no moment.
You know, we have a lot of expressions in the English language.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
What are we talking about?
Where'd that come from?
Most all of us use them every day.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means.
You know, we just say them as if they really made sense.
I mean, how silly is that?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
What the f*** is he talking about?
Yo, what's good? You know what it is. You know who it is. It's me, Mario. Welcome to the Appraise the Phrase show, Origins of Everyday Expressions, where we're here to do three things: unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of common everyday phrases. 20 is in the building with me. I am a little bit, he sent me something last week that is shaking my entire basis, my entire social media, which is social basis, man. So 20, what's good, brother?
What's going on, man? What's going on? It's good to be here, bro.
You sent me something, bro. You sent me something where they said Mario is not saying it's a me, Mario. He's not saying that.
He's not. He's not.
So now, one, that's my Twitter and Instagram name. I just said it to roll in the show. It's on my tag, as you saw.
Yo, when I seen it, Mario, I was like, oh, I'm about to change his life. And you know what? And it wasn't like a situation where it was like evil. You know what I'm saying? But it was like, ooh, I'm about to get this mother.
Yeah.
I'm about to get him. It caught me off guard too as well. So I definitely had to bring it to your attention because, you know, I can't have you going out like that.
Yeah, I think I didn't have mental time to like really change and pivot. But I think I'm going to look this up. We're a research show. I'm a research person. So I'm going to see if it's true. Because you can't just say any old thing. You can say any old thing on the internet and expect it to be true. So I'm going to first see. If it's true, then I will have to come up with a name or I'll take a poll. Then the audience, our viewers and listeners can change my social name.
No, don't change your name, bro. Don't change your name. Just it's you know what it is.
What?
It's the fact that ignorance is bliss, and now that you know that it's a me, he wasn't saying it's a me. He's speaking in Japanese and saying super in Japanese.
I guess I could just pivot to that. I'm just saying Super Mario. I could just say that. Sure.
Oh.
All right.
No, don't even say Super Mario because then they're gonna come after you.
That's when I thought I was like getting away with it. We'll see. We'll go. We'll take it. We'll take it to the editing room and see what we can do. But let's get into the show today. I'm gonna roll out a guest. This is our first time having someone not from the U.S. on the show. Not born in the U.S., I should say. On the show. I had one German player on in season 1, but we didn't even have visuals then. It don't even matter. Now it truly matters. So let me roll out and be very thankful to introduce Tokunbo Tokes, if you know her. She's a cultural curator out of London, and is it owner? We want to say owner, founder, of Ianiwara Book Club? Owner?
Yes.
Yes, owner of Ianiwara Book Club. Tooks, what's good? Oh, they standing up for it. They knew you was coming. It's the first time. So we're happy to have you. How are you?
Hey, I'm very well, thank you. Top of the morning to you all.
Yes, top of the morning.
That's
That's
all.
where we at. I don't know. I don't know where in the UK culture where like how much of y'all make fun of yourselves. So I didn't want to step on no toes. I'm like, do I wear? What do I wear? What do I wear for the show today? To be appropriate. But I appreciate it. Can you tell us more about you, the book club? Just introduce the folks to you.
Okay, so yes, my name Tokunbo actually means somebody from across the sea in Yoruba, which is a language and a tribe from Nigeria. And I was born right here in London, and my mom had the genius idea of taking me back to Nigeria as a baby, and that actually changed my complete life. So even though I came back to the UK when I was 10, my taste buds and my heritage has always been shaped by my first, early experience of growing up in Nigeria. I am a qualified social worker. I'm also an accredited personal style coach. And more importantly, I am an entrepreneur because I just love, I'm an ideas person and I love the thrill of bringing an idea and conceiving an idea and bringing it to life. So I was running Tokunbo's Kitchen for 7 years and also the founder of the London African Food Week. And then during lockdown, I've always read. Books are like the best things for me as far as I'm concerned. And so during lockdown, I had the opportunity of starting a book club for a group of Black moms here in the London. And from that
Nice.
grew the idea for Iyaniwura.
Mhm.
Iyaniwura means in Yoruba means mother is as precious as gold. And I wanted to create something that specifically spoke to Black moms and their children. And so, whilst the book box is for everybody, I really wanted Black moms to see themselves represented.
I hear
Word.
that.
Hey, you know what?
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
Listen,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Before I go on and on about the love for Black moms that me and Mario have, not only because we do have one each, but it's like seriously, I feel like that's something that is very, very dear to our hearts, man. Thank you so much for that. If nobody's thanked you yet, thank you so much for that, man. We need to preserve that. We need to
Yeah,
preserve our Black moms out here, man. They're
yeah,
precious. So thank you so much.
yeah. Gifting that.
Thank you.
Gifting.
That means a lot to you.
Yeah, yeah. What we think is, with words, and this show's a word show and a research show, fun show, whatever, but with the words and reading and igniting that specific to taking care of Black mothers is so dope. So thank you. And that's why we had to have you. We had to have this perspective. So let's take it to a phrase. Let's get into the phrase. And it's a phrase for
Yes.
me. I've been sitting on this one, 20. I've been sitting on it because I'm like, I think I say it. I definitely say it. And I think I believe it, but if I ever have to think I believe it and throw a question mark on it, it's coming to the show. It's coming to the
Bro,
show.
but that's because of the show, though. That's because of the show. Like, it really takes away your foundation for what you believe on the
Yes,
show. I promise you, it takes it
yes,
away, or it gives you some kind of skepticism.
yes,
So
yes.
go
I've,
ahead,
I've, I've
go ahead.
added a healthy
I feel you. I
skepticism
hear
for
you.
every phrase known to my language, and I'm going to get to the other ones. But this one is like relatively. It's one that I don't think the way it's used, I think also impacts how we think of it. So
Hmm.
we are going to unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of easy come, easy go. Okay, easy come, easy go. Now, before we get into like the definitions and where it comes from and how it's impacted in our experiences, individual experiences, let's talk about how we feel about it. I'll start us off. I'll pop us off. For me, again, I'm throwing a question mark on it because is it the truth? Do I feel like it's really what's happening? The things that have come easy to me have gone away just as easily, if that's what it means truly. And then two, if it's the truth, do I like it? Like, do I like it? Do I want to, like, do I just accept it or do I fight it? Do I try to intervene on that and make it last? So I'm actually in conflict of, like, first, is it really what's happening? And two, if so, can I stop it from being so? So that's where I'm at with that.
And that's all I have to say about that.
All right, 20. Where you at with easy come, easy go?
I would say this when you hear that, when I've heard it as a younger man, it was a sense of to get over something, not really as opposed to to grab something, but it was a sense of like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like more a sense of don't let it bother you, because just as quick as it can, something's going to leave.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it together with the whole, if I give you $1, you will just go ahead and spend it. But if I make you work for the dollar, you'll keep it. I've heard that so much to the point where, I feel like they at the same family reunion, but might not be sitting at the same table, like, because it's a situation of, I feel that's the intake of it. Easy come, easy go is like the intake of it.
Yeah.
But when you say, if you want to, the easier you get it, the easier you lose it, could be a sense of a warning or at the beginning of it. So I'm excited to kind of hear which one is the most definite, or which one is the actual perspective of that saying.
Yeah.
Because it can go around, it could go either at the end or at the beginning for me.
Yeah.
For me, it can go at the beginning.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So yeah.
And that's all I have to say about
All right,
that.
Tokes. What's your take on easy come, easy go?
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit philosophical on that, because I feel, first of all, nothing comes easy in life. I think we deceive ourselves in believing things that we've worked for, when they do come, have come easily. So when I hear easy come, easy goes, I think more take the time to appreciate the things that you do have, because when they go, sometimes it feels like it's been easy to have that thing gone from you. So whether it's a job, it's a relationship, it's a friendship, or whatever it is. But for me, nothing that I've lost in this life has been easy. In the same breath, nothing I've achieved or nothing I've had or nothing I've wanted has been easy. So it may have been easy in the sense of, once I've learned how to do my job, it becomes easy for me to start a business.
Yeah.
But the process of starting the business is not easy.
Right.
So somebody looking on the outside, they'll be like, oh, wow, you started your food business in 6 weeks. That's easy. But they don't think about the 15 years experience I had watching my mom run a business, doing business with my mom, that made it easy for me to then start my business.
Yeah.
So when I then decide to end that particular business, again, people are like, oh, you're making an easy decision. And it's like, no, it's not an easy decision, because again, I've had to think long and hard about what it meant for me at the stage of my life that I'm in. So personally, I don't really think nothing comes easy. I think you work for the things that you want and you work for the things that you get. And if it feels easy, it's because you've been doing it for so long that you don't even realize that you're working for it.
Yeah. Heard that.
And that's all I have to say.
Heard that.
about
And I love that take. Knowing the research that I know. I love that take. So let's get into the meaning of this.
Tony shaking his head like, damn, I lost this one. Oh, sorry, was it not meant to be a competition?
Oh, yes. Tokes gets it. Yes. Yes. You get it. This is great.
My bad, Tony.
That's awesome.
20. So
That's awesome.
20 says this thing on the show. He says, when we have our way of being, and if you watch the show, we spent the whole season 2 like, okay, 1 definition. And then we came into season 3 and like 2 definitions. And I'm like, man, this is a phrase that I got to dive in a little bit more. I'm like, but dang, do I stick to like 2 definitions? And then I asked the owners of the show, like 20 says, yeah, just ask the owners. And I said, you know what? I'm going to add a 3rd definition this week because the owners greenlit it. So this week, we've had Cambridge Dictionary.
Folks, we're the owners. We're the owners. We're the owners, by the way.
Clearly. It's like the meme. Let me speak to the manager. Oh, yeah, I am the manager.
Exactly.
Exactly. So
I told
I
I
get
told Mario, I say, Mario, let me give me a second. I get the owner, and then I turn around and I was like, hey, how can you do? What can I do for you, bro? What do you have questions about the show?
so we made that choice. I sent it up to upper management. They sent it back with a green light. So we're actually going to do 3 definitions. So Merriam Webster, the brand, they're here. Dictionary.com, who's been holding us down, they're here. Cambridge Dictionary, who I've come to grow and love as a brand, oh, they're here. So I pulled out 3 definitions because it seems to need to tell the whole story of like how it's defined. So depending on where you go of the official printed definition, you'll find almost 3 different ones. So the first one, Merriam-Webster, says it's used to say that someone is not bothered about losing something. So flat out, plain and simple, someone is not bothered about losing something. Now, dictionary.com says the meaning of easy come, easy go is suggesting a lack of concern over how things turn out, particularly over money. So they're adding like the money aspect to it in the definition. And then Cambridge.com comes in the room and says that easy come, easy go is said when something, especially money, is easily gotten and then soon spent or lost. So these definitions, to me, as I'm adding analysis, is like they're all. It seems like the telephone game or the whisper game with definitions. This isn't even the origin. Like how we're defining it. To me, I feel like have 3 different distinctions. And basically says like you can use them these ways, and this is a first. This is an ATB first, where it's like we're not looking for subtle differences. It looks like we have 3 different definitions. So, Tokes, I'm gonna start with you. Where do the 3 different definitions put you in terms of the phrase, and do you have one that you resonate with more than the others?
I'm gonna go with the Merriam-Webster definition. I think that again just aligns more with where I am in terms of when I hear the phrase "easy come, easy go," I don't automatically think of money.
Mm-hmm.
I think more of relationships. I think more of friendships. I think more of experiences. I think more of things that you're looking to get or things that you want to achieve and how it makes you feel when that thing's gone.
Yeah.
So
Word. Okay. 20. Where you at with
Heard
them
that.
3? Yeah.
I, I agree. I think the first definition kind of covers everything, including money. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
what I've come to realize, not to digress, but I am going to
Please
digress.
digress.
What I've realized that dictionary.com and the Cambridge, I feel like they're more personal definitions. Like they'll read it from Merriam and be like, you know what? This is actually what I feel about it. You get what I'm saying? Like it's more of a personal vibe than the actual like unbiased, neutral. Let's try to put everything in this one sentence, in this one definition, as opposed to, nah, bro, I'm talking about money. Nah, bro, I'm talking about relationship. Nah, bro,
Yeah,
I'm talking about
exactly.
your mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's how they come at it, as
Yeah.
opposed to Webster. You know, it's a Merriam-Webster one. It's like a more broader, more everything, more. This is how it's going to go. Atmosphere.
Yeah, and that's crazy, and it's interesting you
So
say
yeah,
that.
I would agree more with Miriam, the brand Miriam, as opposed to, just with the money. But
You did mention money though.
like we said, in a sense, it is saying the same thing. Just the other 2 are being particular about money, because you can put money in that aspect, just like Tokes did. You can put money in that aspect. You can put family in that aspect. You can put friends in that aspect for the number 1, but the 2 and the third one is specifically talking about a certain thing. So I think that's where it kind of separates itself from the first
So I got a question here.
definition.
I got a question for you too. Then this is interesting for me. Like I said, this is the first time a phrase where we're like, this is supposed to be the part that's black and white. This is the part of the show that's supposed to be black and white, but like they didn't do that. This phrase didn't do that. So my question for y'all, and if y'all answer at the same time, that would be so funny. But is money? So all things, right, are encompassed in easy come, easy go. Whether you agree or not, can we all agree that like out of all the things, is money the easiest to come and go? Is like that the thing that like feels the most easy come, easy go-ish? You're muted, bro. I can't hear you. 20.
I can't
Yeah,
hear
you're
him.
muted, bro.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. Sorry about that. When it comes to money, that's one of the things that a lot of people definitely dwell on more. I feel like financial, you would dwell on it more than, relationship, or more than a job, or more than whatever the case may be, because, money is kind of like the root of everything.
Mhm.
So if when it comes to that, I think that's probably the number one on the list, where people are saying, "Hey, man, don't worry, you can get it back." You
Okay.
know, it's just as easy as you got that first dollar, you can get the second dollar if you use that same, technique, or if you use that same experience, or if you use that same knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't think you can kind of do that with family. I don't think you kind of do that with relationship, in a sense. But when it comes to money, it's one of those things where you can make happen just as quick, because you have that knowledge to gain it again.
Yeah.
You know.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hmm.
Think so.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because I think it definitely depends on the state that you're in as a person and where your money mindset is on. I think if this conversation was happening maybe 5, 6 years ago, I might have had a different take. But I remember as an entrepreneur, I learned a very important lesson a couple of years ago, and that was that making money is actually easy when you have when it's easy to make money when you have a perceived value
Yeah.
that people can pay you for.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned as an entrepreneur. So, over the years, I've learned that if I wanted to make this amount of money, it's just really about whether as my professional skill set or using my ideas to create that opportunity to make that money.
Yeah.
So, in that sense, yes, I agree that the phrase can very easily lend itself to money, but I think as somebody who's in a stage in life where I've lost a lot of friendship and I've lost a lot of relationships, and those are more meaningful to me
Yeah.
than the money that I've lost. Because like I said, when you lose money, you get it back in different ways. So you don't often even know that you've lost that money.
Mm-hmm.
But when you lose a relationship, when you lose a friendship, when you lose an opportunity, whether it's a job opportunity, when you lose, your identity, that doesn't feel as easy to let go of. And so that's why for me, that phase is more, I look at it in a more deeper way than just on a surface level of, yeah, easy comes, easy go. And it's kind of like, and I think it's one of those things that we do as humans where we try to minimize the pain of loss. And so we tell ourselves that loss was easy because it was an easy gain
Yeah.
rather than actually dealing with the impact of the loss itself.
Yes. 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 And that's where kind of like I start to get is like, what part am I weighing? Am I weighing the easy come part, or am I weighing the easy go part? Is like, where does that start to connect with me? So that's what I'm trying to get through. So let's get into the origin so we can get some more answers of where it's set up.
Where'd that come from?
All right. So we're going to go all the way back to 400 BC to an ancient Chinese expression that's similar to this, where it's derived from, they say, and that is quickly come and quickly go. So there's ancient Chinese folks said quickly come and quickly go, and that became an adage around 400 BC. So what I did, because I couldn't find anyone attributed to that expression, any Chinese proverbial folks, any people that are philosophy based, Sun Tzu or something that might have said it. So I went back to the time. I wanted to see what was going on 400 BC to make this stick, So what I wanted to do was start before 400 BC and then get there. So around 700 BC, and it was called the spring and autumn period, and there was a gradual breakdown of imperial authority and a rise in semi-independent feudal states. So people started to get back at the kingdom that they were born into, and it was being torn apart. So things were changing around 700 BC. So you go 300 years later, as that's starting to become taken apart, to 400 BC, where it became the Warring States era. So now they're in the heat. They're in the heat of it. And this rivalry and this warfare from the 1700 BC was happening in China, and different kingdoms were fighting and rising and falling amongst, this time. So that would say to me, okay, maybe they were talking about like having a life, like having dominion. And like as quickly as you became during this warring state era, as quickly as you were a state, quickly you were pulled down as a state. So that's kind of where it started, 400 BC. And then that essence of the expression of how it works in life, of a thing that is quickly gained, being quickly removed, was actually introduced in one of the strongest, most popular literary pieces in history, specifically English history, and that's Canterbury Tales. Y'all heard of Canterbury Tales? Do y'all know that shit? A little bit. Canterbury Tales was written by Geoffrey Chaucer in the 1300s, and first Chaucer was basically called the father of English literature, or the father of English poetry, and he was the first writer to be buried in Poets' Corner in Westminster Abbey. So he's the first ever poet. So that's how important this guy is, who introduced the essence of quickly come, quickly go, easy come, easy go into the lexicon through the Canterbury Tales. Now, the Canterbury Tales, for those that don't know, because it's a name that I knew, but I'm like, once I started researching, I'm like, I didn't know what it actually was encompassed. So I'll give us that. So the Canterbury Tales is a collection of 24 stories that runs over 17,000 lines in the Middle English. And it actually is what broke, well, some say, and a lot say, it's what broke English into popularity, Middle English into popularity over French and Italian and Latin. So this is why this book is so important, or this work is so important, is because this is actually the first major English publication to work in Europe. So this expression came from that, and the passage in this came from the nun's priest tale as a part of Canterbury Tale. She had a tale, and she said, God knows that worldly joy is swift to go. And this story that she told is basically like, as someone was talking to her, being a priest nun, so she was able to witness and watch the kingdom. And she told this story of basically like a rooster and a chicken, and they like came together. The rooster was living on their own, came together, but there was a fox somewhere in their garden, and they found each other and they fell for each other, and it was quick, easy coming together, and they were frolicking amongst the forest, and there's this fox in wait. And the story is basically like, you can live this life that like something came so easily, but there's a fox waiting, and the fox comes and eats the chicken and takes the chicken, and the fox is like, the fox is constant. Like the way I tried to read the story, I read almost the whole thing. I got to the part that I needed to get to better explain the story. And basically the story explains how the fox is always lurking. Like the fox is always present, but the fox didn't matter until and what the fox does didn't matter until the rooster found this connection, this easy connection that the rooster didn't work for. The chicken just showed up one day, and they were like, had this bond. And then the fox was like, yeah, the chicken's mine. So it's like anything that is of worldly pleasure, being a nun, is like easy, too easy, I guess. And it's swift joy is swiftly taken. So that's where it starts in terms of like, like religiously, I'm guessing like sowing into something is what is not worldly joy, because the worldly joy is something that just comes, that makes you worldly happy, is swift to go. So let's start there. Let's stop there and get your opinions on like that setup from.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Think about this. Think about, like, I want to set the stage again. Like, for big publication, like this piece. And this is one of the stories that catches wind. Tokes, where you at?
Of course, it had to be religion.
Of course, right.
Of course, it had to. And I think, and again, it goes to my point of it's about shame. It's a shame tactic when you think about it. Easy come, easy goes, worldly pleasure, like the things that you enjoy in life are too easy, and you should feel shame about the fact that you're enjoying it. And so when it does go, let it go and don't feel that, don't moan. And I think that's just nonsense. Honestly, I feel like now that I know that, I'm like, yeah, easy come, easy go just really just now annoys me even more.
See, what did I say at the
No,
beginning? What did I say? Talk at the beginning,
like
right?
honestly, it's I feel like everything. Well, if you strip back
Got
so
him.
many English phrases, and that's the thing about English phrases. And I think, as somebody who did English language and English literature in secondary school, like when you understand how devilish the English people are in terms of how they're trying to spread their own agenda, when you start to strip back some of these proverbs and some of these adages that we use, you start to understand that a lot of them are relevant to the time when they were started, but not so much now. And that's why like I said, easy come, easy go. What has ever come easy? Like even the free money that I've received in this life, I've received it because of something else that I've done in other parts of my life. So to me, that's not easy money. That's just a reward for other good deeds that I've done, or the fact that actually I'm in a place where I have a money abundance mindset and I'm attracting money to myself. And so, and just kind of relating it back to that story that you've told, and I think, I'm all for pleasure, and I'm all for pleasure in all aspects of life. So for me, nothing about pleasure should be like pleasure should be easy. It
Yes.
should. That's the one area in life that I think you really like. Me wanting pleasure from my Agenda's ice cream, that should be an easy thing, and I shouldn't feel like, now that it's gone, I should feel shame about it, or I should feel like, oh, I didn't work hard for it. No, it's a pleasure. You shouldn't have to work for pleasure.
Yes.
You should just
Come
receive
on.
pleasure, because what else are we doing as human beings if we're not being pleasured?
For real. What is that? Like any
Hey, she about
go
to
ahead. Hey,
preach.
yeah, let me
I,
not go. Let me not go. 20. Go
I'm about
ahead.
to
Go ahead.
start
Go ahead. Let me
preaching
not
here.
go. Go ahead.
No, you can go, Mario. Hey, listen, it doesn't change how I feel. I love it. I love it. I love it, and I love listening, and I love that. She had that moment that we're the reason why we put this show together is for that moment right
That
there.
moment
So
right
that
there.
moment
Yeah.
right. You know what? Hell no. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That hell no moment is the reason why we got this show. And thank you so much for giving that to us. We appreciate that so, so much. We give our
Yes.
flowers every day on this show.
Yep.
And we appreciate that so much
Yes.
because this is why we do it. This is why we get excited to do these shows because it's like, yeah, you know what, man? You know what? I don't fuck with it because I believe in my heart what I believe.
Yes.
And if
Yes.
if you don't want to take what you are receiving for granted, then nobody can tell you easy come and easy go.
Exactly.
Nobody don't. It gets to the point where it gets disrespectful. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like don't disrespect me by saying easy come easy go because one, it wasn't easy. I put in the work for this stuff. Two,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna give it the time that it needs to get out of my system because I'm hurting right
I'm
now.
hurt. That is gone.
You
Yeah.
feel me?
What are you talking about?
I
Yeah.
deserve that. I deserve
Yeah.
that, bro. It
What?
wasn't easy. I deserve it. So yes, I get it. I get the
Absolutely.
saying. I get it. I get what you're saying. If I can, like I said, if I give you $1, you will spend it like it was the quickest dollar you ever earned. But if I make you work for that dollar, you're gonna spend it 1 cent at a time. Yes, that is how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. But
Yeah.
don't tell me easy come and easy go if I work for this goddamn dollar. No.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And if you gave it to me and I spent it fast, damn. Damn it. I'm allowed to be like, damn, that was a quick dollar. Damn, that was a quick dollar.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to do that.
I mean,
Yes.
to be honest, though, to be honest, you're not getting much for $1 in
Exactly.
this day and
First of
age.
all,
So, like, you giving me $1 is not
yeah,
changing my
actually, I'm
life radically.
frustrated because now I
So
got to
let's
figure
be
out what
real.
to do with this.
Exactly. Because you've given me $1, so now I need extra dollars to actually get the thing that I need and actually want. So actually, you made my life even harder than when I didn't have the dollar.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
One of
What's the
my favorite comedians is one of my favorite. Sorry to interrupt, but one of
you
my
good?
favorite comedians is Eddie Griffin. One of his jokes, he goes like, a bum came up to him, he's like, "Hey man, you got a quarter where I could get something to eat?" He's like, nigga, if you know where you can get something to eat for a quarter, I'll go with you. And I'm like, yes, bro. Like, yes, bro. Yes,
What are we
bro.
talking
The
about
dollar's
here?
not going to change your life. $5 not going to change your life. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, easy come, easy go. Yeah, like you never had anything. I get it. But
But interestingly, so I was actually thinking about that because I was thinking the only people that probably would be appreciative of like a dollar a quarter is somebody who's in a position of having to beg
Mm-hmm.
for that money. But then when I also think about it, they probably beg for a quarter because they know that if I come up to you and be like, "Hey, bro, give me $100," you're gonna look at me like, "Are you
Yeah,
mad?"
you crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
But if I ask you for $1, it's an easier sell for you to be like, okay, yes or no. And I think that's why, people who are in a position of having to beg, whether they're begging because of an addiction or they're begging because they're just worthless, like you're begging and you're going to ask for the bare minimum
Mm-hmm.
because you know that that bare minimum is more likely to get a yes
Yeah.
than a no. But at the same time, like nobody's gonna get anything for $1. Like, okay,
Nobody.
even like I remember when I used to come to the US and when I was younger, like I used to love going to the dollar store because it was like, wow, like it was back then the pound was £2 to $1. So for me, your dollar was already £2.
Oh, so
Like
you
oh
like
wow,
from and
double up.
then I'm getting all this stuff. But now I go to the US and I'm like, my dollar's not getting me anything.
nope.
You can't even get a dollar ice
Even
cream in
Dollar Tree is
McDonald's
like a dollar
anymore.
25 now. Even Dollar Tree is like a dollar
Right?
25.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome,
So
man. I love it. I love this show. This is
That's
awesome.
it's
This
it's
is
a great
awesome.
thing.
Go ahead,
It's a
man.
great thing. No, you're good. You're good. No, real quick, I will say if you don't mind me, 20, exposing you as a human. You had a moment where that, like, I don't know if that joke actually impacted how you move in the world, but you had a moment where you were like, yo, I'm going to give this person in need or this person in position to beg more than what they're asking for. Cause it's like, hey, G, what do you ask? Like, what's that going to do for you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You
Oh
remember
no, no,
that?
that's what I do, bro. Yeah. No. Yes. No. 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 You're right. That and honestly, Mario, that joke, saying that joke as a younger man and a child, kind of formatted how I approach these situations. Like I would rather buy you something to eat than give you $1.
Yeah.
Now, if you come into me and having a conversation as a human, like, yo, bro, I'm about $2 short from getting this dime. You know what I'm saying? This
Yeah.
dime back, whatever the case may be. Yeah, then it depends on the type of person that I am today. If I'm feeding habits or feeding fires or not. But if I'm not,
Yeah.
then hey, you know what I'm saying? Like I appreciate the honesty more than anything for you telling me, yeah, I'm $1 short from getting a full meal for the rest of my life. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Exactly.
Yeah, all right.
Cool. Hey, we've reached the pinnacle, so I'm gonna move us through the timeline to get us to where we at today. I would love to grade this thing. So really quickly, quickly come, quickly go. Moved to, like we said, God knows that worldly joy is swift to go. To lightly come, lightly go in the 1600s, and then it was popularized by James Joyce. So I don't know if you remember James Joyce. He's an Irish novelist, poet, and literary critic, and he contributed to the modernist avant-garde movement and is basically one of the most influential and important writers of the 20th century. So this is attached to some people in history, at least in American history or European history. And he's described, his opinions are described as those of a socialist artist. So if we're talking about being on the right or wrong side of history, he will be like closer to the right side of history. Like he wants good things for all people and shit. So he actually wrote a poem called Lightly Come and Lightly Go, which I'm going to read the summary of real quick because I tried to break it down, bust it down, and it didn't go for me. So the summary is basically that it's like poetry, bro. So if I was to read this on air, it would be a tough sell. But he basically, there's an angel, and the angel comes in, and like we know angels to be soft and they're supposed to represent peace. So he actually is telling the angel, like, when you come lightly, like arrive lightly, let your presence be light. And that when you're with me, I feel good. And that laughter was in the room and it felt good while you were there. And it continue to spread that. And then when it's time for you to leave, please remain in this energy, this good mood. And please leave lightly. Please leave in that same breath and that same essence. Like, please don't, like, when you get up out of here, Angel, don't cause disruption. So as you lightly come, lightly go. Be light in this thing here. So he actually wasn't talking about level of difficulty. He was talking about the feeling of it. Like, be good to me when you come, be good to me when you go. And I rock with that. Where y'all at with that? Wow, 20's laughing.
You sure he was thinking about an angel?
No, because my grandmother used to say that. My grandmother used to say that. Like it's just funny because like she'll soften you up. Oh man, when you come, to enjoy yourself. Da, da, da. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're home. You know what I mean? Be comfortable. But when you leave, make sure you leave. Don't overstay your welcome. Make sure you don't steal nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like she'll give you that front end of it. She'll give you that front end of it and be like, oh my God, it's so wholesome. It's so nurturing. It's so family oriented. And then when they leave, bro, it's like, are you already tired of me? Like don't. God bless her soul. I love you so much, Grandma. But like that just reminded me. I'm so sorry, Mario, but that just put me back, bro, because it was one of those things where it's like, and if you didn't leave in the same fashion, she would let you know. Like it was like, all right now, when it get to that point where they're like, all right now, you came in cool now, all right. You want to go out the same way you came in, or you want to go out different? My grandma was a goon, so it was one of those situations where it's like, damn, that was nostalgia, bro. Just brought me back because, like, I never would have put those two together. And now that we're explaining it and getting origins and getting these truths about this saying, I'm like, yeah, that was easy coming, easy going was her thing, bro. It was her thing, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that wasn't even on some money. Oh, lightly coming, lightly going was her thing, and it wasn't even like pertaining to money. It was just like keep that same energy, keep that same vibe. You get what I mean? And it was like, damn, you just man, you almost made me cry. That was a good one. That was good. My man. Oh, thank you so much for that, Mario.
Of course. Anything, Tokes?
I think just. That was such a beautiful story, Tony, honestly. I think definitely I'm similar to your grandmother. I think I have the same energy. If you're coming into my life with, like, I have the good intention when you come. And if you're leaving, leave with that same energy. There's nothing I dislike more than somebody coming into my space and turning things upside down and then thinking they can just get to walk away. Like, no. Like, it's like when my nieces and nephews come over. I listen, I'm the favorite fun auntie. We go have fun. I'll cook. I'll do all the things. But when you leave, you got to leave my flat in the same state that it was in. Yeah. Clean and tidy.
Yeah.
Like you clean up your mess. So for me in that, like, I think that definitely aligns with like the spirit of who I am. Like, that energy that you're bringing in is the same energy that you live with. And it's about, coming in a space of, gentleness, and also I think sometimes like lightly come doesn't even also mean to just be gentle, because some people are very, like, I'm a very loud person and my personality is loud. So when you see me, that's the energy you're gonna get. Like, and when I leave, you're gonna remember me for that energy. You're not gonna be like, oh, Tux was just shrinking violet. No, never. So.
Oh yeah. No, that's perfect. Like, that just. Honestly, Mario, that just emptied it up for me, man.
I know that, like, balance it out a little bit, right?
Me, yeah, bro. Because once you take out the money aspect of it, once you take out the money aspect of it, you can get behind it a little bit more, because it's like it takes away, it doesn't separate it no more. I feel like when you first get it initially, it's a separation between that, easy come, separate, easy go.
Yes.
And you might agree with the easy come, you might agree with the easy go, but just both of them together, it's hard to kind of like get that.
Slow down, brother. You are praising. Slow down. You are praising.
Oh, my bad, man.
You can't help it. Real quick, let's get to it. One thing I want to do, let's get us to current day. Let's get us to current day. So easy come, easy go came into you good. it came into the lexicon, easy come, easy go in the 1800s. So it goes from lightly come, lightly go, which is, again, not level of difficulty, but feeling of ease. So easy come, easy go comes from that now in American English. And then it got boom, popularized on our scene as recent as 1967, y'all. 1967, based on the musical comedy of the same name, Easy Come, Easy Go. And it starred my man. It's like, not really, that one is sarcastic, my man. Elvis Presley. It starred Elvis Presley, Ted Jackson, and a whole bunch of other relatively like famous for the time white folks, of course. And that's where like blew up and people really started to say easy come, easy go, almost to the point where they did not care what it meant. So again, before we get into appraising, let's just run it down. Starts off ancient proverb, Chinese, can't quickly come, quickly go during wartime, like prior to wartime, and then wartime, like imperialistic stuff. Then we get that God knows that worldly joy is swift to go. So it's more like turned into a nun's priest message from the Canturbury Tales. Is like, hey man, if you haven't invested your soul into it, then if you got it without investing your soul into it, it's gonna go quickly. Especially that level of joy was the word that was used. And then moved to James Joyce, who was like, hey man, I'm going with like the feeling of it. So as you come into my life, be easy. As you leave my life, be easy. Don't add turbulence. And then we got to the America using that and it being easy come, easy go in terms of just popular to say based on Elvis's movie of the same name. So where we are, there we are. We made it. We made it. All right, let's appraise it, y'all. Let's appraise it. So, Tokes, this is how we do it. We have an American grading system. Sorry. There's 3 categories. We got speed, power, and then guest preference.
Don't be sorry, you guys are American.
Is the grading scale, A being the best, F being the worst. You can do pluses, minuses, whatever. Power is the impact. So once you hear it, or is it said, does it actually shift things? Do things change when you hear it? Or does it make you feel something when you hear it? Speed is just like, is it eloquent to say? Is that part of why it's made its way? Is its eloquence and smooth to say off the tongue? And then your guest preference, your preference meaning how you feel about it based on everything you've heard today, every bias you brought into the situation. So 20, since you had already started it and I liked where you were going, give us the power grade.
Well, you know me, Mario. I always start at how long has it been relevant, and if you're saying BC, then there you go, right there. You know what I mean? Like the fact of the matter that it has stood for that long, I automatically put it in the A's. You know, the easygoing, part. I feel like that's. Before I get into that part, I'm not gonna take it too long. But I would say this, that in the beginning, I didn't know whether it started at, it was something that of a warning or something as a coping mechanism. But I think it's more of a coping mechanism as opposed to warning somebody to say, hey, work for it because it's going to go just as quick, as opposed to, hey man, don't worry, get over it. You'll get it again. You'll get back on it. So like, I think more now it's something that you say afterwards, which also kind of powers it, because now you're saying this is how you manipulating people. And I'm not using manipulation as a bad thing, but just as a sense of changing people's mindset. So yeah, I definitely give it an A in my grade because of that, because of the longevity and how now you can kind of use it as a don't worry manipulation type of thing. So
yeah, so it's got that
it
dual
definitely
power.
has a lot of power in it. Yeah, it has dual power. Yeah. So I'll give it an A.
Beautiful. Speed, I mean, hey, look, easy come, easy go. You can dance to it. It has the word easy in it, which there's something about the ease of saying the word ease. I don't know. I'm in this. I'm actually, my brain is going
easy,
crazy.
bro.
My brain, I don't know. Is it easy or am I just saying easy? So for that alone,
Mentally, bro.
for real. So for
Mentally,
that alone, I gotta
bro.
go A, man. This is gonna be, depending on Tote's grade, it's gonna be. So I'm giving it an A for speed. All right, Tokes, you up. Anything A
Okay,
through F,
so
plus, minus, whatever.
And if you think, Tokes, if you think it's an F,
Say it.
please say it because we look.
to be honest, initially when you were talking about the grading, first of all, A to F is such a wild like spectrum in
Mhm.
terms of grading. This is why I did grade through because it should just be like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. Come on, guys. But this is an American show, so we will play along with the Americans.
You see the shade, the
Um,
smoke, the shade from across the lake.
um, I I do like the thing that I like about this phrase more than anything, it's how it has crossed oceans and cultures. So the fact
Mm-hmm.
that it started out in Chinese
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
proverb regarding a completely different entity to what it's now relating to. And then obviously went to the Brits, went to the English, and then became very Puritan, and then crossed over to the Atlantic, came back to the Yankees, who were just like, yeah, we're just going to make this easy come, easy go, and just make it about something frivolous. So I would give it, it's been around, and for that, we're thankful for it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna give it a C plus.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a C plus because I think, like I said, and again, it goes back to what I said at the beginning, and this is why you should always listen to me. If you strip it down and just go philosophical with it, you will realize that it is about trying to make us and make people feel better,
Mm-hmm.
and it is, what you said about it being a coping mechanism. But actually, it's also just not gonna do much for you because what is it like? Okay, you say easy come, easy go, but what's the lesson? What's the takeaway from that? What have you learned? What have you gained? You're just telling yourself easy come, easy goes, and then you're still out of a dollar. You still don't have that thing that you had. So for me, in that regard, it's like, yeah, it's easy to dance with, but is it the kind of dance that you go, man, you're like, man, I had a good time. That was fun. I want to
Argue
do
with
that
that.
again. Or was it just
Hard
like,
to
you know
argue.
what? Yeah, that was a
But
good dance, and that
yeah.
was it.
All right.
So yeah, I'm gonna give it a C plus. He tried, but didn't quite
Right. Hey,
do it for
listen.
me.
At least he got up to the C. I get you. Know, at least he
Hey,
got up to the
hey,
C. Toast.
let me
He
stamp it.
got up to the C, so I get that.
Let me
I am
stamp that
nothing
thing.
but
See,
fair. So I
that's
weighed up
grace right
all
there.
the,
That's grace.
the impact and the durability and, the ease of it. So like I said, I'll give it to it because it's traveled across
Yeah.
time, continents, and space.
Yeah.
And it's been around for so long, and I think it's meant different things for different people. And the fact that we can all relate to it at different stages of life, and the fact that when you heard the origin story of it, how that then took you back to a very beautiful memory of your grandmother. That in
Yeah.
itself just goes to show that, sometimes these phrases, they might feel meaningless to us, but we see them play out in our day-to-day lives in ways that we don't even understand that that's what's happening. So yeah, I'm not gonna be like, nah, that's a F. No, you get your C, but even the C plus, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna be
Hey,
nice.
listen. Hey, we gonna steal that. Since we're American, we gonna steal that plus and put C plus on it
And turn into a B.
and make it our own C plus. So we're gonna steal that plus
Exactly.
and make it our own C plus because we're
Exactly.
Americans.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's all we know how to do.
And that's all
Yeah.
we know how to do.
Yo, one more time, y'all. One more time. Hey, beautiful thing that we got going on here. Beautiful thing. Before we get out of here, I want y'all to know that you'll be able to find all things Tokes in the show notes and on the promo. But first, before we leave, I will toss it to 24.
The Dictionary of Misinformation.
Oh,
All right, Tokes. All right, we have this thing, what we call is the Dictionary of Misinformation. And what we do is we ask all of our guests to give us a letter, any letter in the alphabet, except for X, because X has been taken. All right, now this is a real life book Mario just showed you. And what it does is just give you information that you've probably been misinformed about. So it's one of my favorite segments because I love the shock value, I love the shock factor and things. So what we do is we're going to ask you this. We're going to give you this information, and we're going to turn off the comment section because we're not here to argue. All right. This is something that we do. We're not trying to argue with you. We're going to say what it is, and we're going to cut off the cameras. All right. So give us a letter. Give us a letter. And whatever letter you choose, Mario is going to pick the information off of that.
T.
T it is.
Do it.
Give us some tea about tea, bro.
What's the tea? Ooh. Oh, man. Okay. So this one, tea has a lot. So forgive me. We actually don't go to tea that often.
You know what? That's true. That is true. That is true.
I'm glad to be your first.
No, it's you'd be surprised what letters get like left behind. Like A through C gets left behind because it's the first three. I would say TUV get left off because obviously LMNOP is probably the most popular part of the most popular part of the alphabet. Just because you put all those letters into one letter, and then you got the petty letters like Q and X and T that gets picked up all the time because people just want to challenge the book, but the book always wins. So
the book.
Go ahead, Mario. If you found that T, let's go ahead and get it done.
Yeah, let's do it. Wow, okay. Man, it's so many. There's a lot about teeth, y'all. There's a lot about teeth. I'm gonna skip them.
Like misinformation about your teeth?
Yes. Yeah, well, just what happens. Okay, let's do the three wise men. Wait a minute. I'm gonna have to go.
Mario, do not read it first.
Sorry. Three wise men. Hold on. Okay, I'm not reading this whole thing because I'm not gonna be able to get through it. There is no mention in the Gospels of the number of wise men who brought the gifts to the infant Jesus. There's no number.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Wait, what?
The wise men did not find Jesus in a manger. They did not follow the star where. What is going? Hey, this is the first one that got me sitting back, bro. The Christmas story is told in Matthew 2 and Luke 2, and Matthew is the only book that mentions the wise men at all. He says simply, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem. The idea that there were only three wise men crept in, no doubt, because the gifts included three types of treasure. When the Bible story was translated,
gold, crickets, and myrrh, right?
Yes, it was not wise men who visited the. Wait, it was the most natural to portray one wise man for each gift. There could have been many men and many gifts. It also was not wise men who visit the manger in spite of the numerous medieval and Renaissance paintings. Matthew clearly says, and when they were coming to the house. Okay, guys, I'm not reading no more of this because we've been so wrong about this that it's shattering me. It is shattering me. So y'all,
wait.
We have to turn the mics off on ourselves, or we're breaking our own rules right now. Got me. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm trying not to comment, bro. I'm trying not to comment. You know what, guys? You know what? That's it. You guys have a good night, man. I appreciate y'all for coming to for listening to the show. Just to let you know, there wasn't three wise men.
For the people that's not related to the misinformation you were just doing.
Please, the Christian community, please. That's not us. Not the Christian community. We're just here to inform and give different perspectives. But Christian community, that it was not us. If it's three to y'all, it's three to y'all.
Finished. Finn. All right, y'all. You can find us, the three of us. The three of us you can find. It's definitely three people here.
We are the new three wise men.
Google Podcasts,
and women.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube for the visuals, theappraiseofphrase.com. Again, thank you for Tokes. You can find the book club, all things that Tokes is doing in the show notes. And remember, tip your flight attendants, support the writer's strike. We're on the right side of history here. And remember that value is in the eye of the appraiser. Thank y'all.
Yeah, I like it.